Let me be very clear when I say you do not need to be on camera in 2026 in order to create amazing content. However, if you would like to get comfortable on camera, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you push yourself to try because it absolutely will explode your content and take it to the next level in 2026. And let me be clear before we dive in, I'm not about to slam you with some just do it advice. All right. We all know it's not that freaking easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. We're going to talk about getting the reps in that will help you get comfortable over time. Comfort comes from familiarity, not the personality that you were born with. So anybody can learn how to become comfortable on camera if they want to. And you're not behind, okay? You're human. And you're doing something for the first time that you've never done before. So I want you to walk into this conversation giving yourself a lot of grace and giving yourself permission to be a beginner. Before I dive into 5 tips that are going to help you get more comfortable on camera, let's start by kind of reframing the goal here. The goal isn't waking up tomorrow morning with confidence. Because if you did that, you'd just be faking it. And who likes a faker? Confidence is a side effect that comes over time with getting more comfortable on camera. Eventually, you will feel confident, but it is not a prerequisite to getting started. Most of the people that you think are good on camera, they've just practiced. They've just been really bad at it for a long time. And then over time, they've learned how to become better. It's like any skill that you've ever picked up in your life. You start out being absolutely horrible at it. And then over time, you just learn to get better. You learn what works, you learn what doesn't work. And what works for me and what works for you are going to be completely different. So you just have to kind of test the waters, try things out, dip your toes in a little bit, if you will. Comfort grows when your brain actually realizes, wow, nothing bad happens when I do this. And even when you do put some content out there that you look back at and kind of feels cringy, you realize that you survive. You make it through, and it's not as serious or as scary as it actually feels. So my very first tip for you to get comfortable on camera is by starting off camera. And this is not cheating. If you try to go 0 to 100 and just start throwing your face up online when you have never created any type of other content before, it feels a little bit overwhelming. It's a lot, okay? So what you can start with, and we talked about this in the last episode, is voiceovers. You can start with B-roll and text. You can start with screen recordings or audio-only podcasting. My other podcast that I produce, audio only. I don't do video on that one. I do only video on this one. And that's how I started. It really, really helped me to get comfortable and very confident speaking without feeling like a camera is staring at me in the face, okay? So this really, really matters because your voice, ideas, and your pacing will get stronger when you start practicing off camera, okay? Worry about your delivery. Worry about the actual content that you're sharing and make that really, really good before you start worrying about how you are being perceived. It's a lot. If you're trying to deliver great content and deliver it well, and you're thinking about all these other variables besides what you're actually saying, it's overwhelming. So take all that pressure off first and just start creating off camera. All right, tip number 2. Low pressure on camera reps. That is what you need. Ease into this kind of like training wheels on a bike, right? So an example of this could be film the content, but don't post it. Film it with the intent in your mind. I'm just going to practice, all right? I'm not going to post this. This is just a practice round. Just like when you're practicing to play a sport or you're practicing the piano, you don't start with an audience first, right? You start by practicing without an audience. So film, but don't post it. Post stories first, like Instagram stories or Snapchat stories, Facebook stories. These disappear after 24 hours. And for whatever reason, because it's not forever like the internet is, this feels lower stakes, right? It feels a little bit less scary. Another great tip is to look next to the camera, not directly in it. And as I am saying this, I did that myself and I realized, wow, that actually changes the scariness so much. Just looking slightly to the left or to the right of the camera gives the illusion that you are making direct eye contact with the camera, but you're not. It's like if you look at somebody's nose when you speak with them, Like direct eye contact for whatever feels so much more intimidating. But if you just look at their nose or you look in between their eyes or their forehead, it's less intimidating. There's definitely some psychology behind that. Maybe I'll look that up and prepare it for another episode for another day. But wow, it makes a big difference. And also sitting down instead of standing. There's something about taking a seat, can't even explain it to you, but sitting instead of standing feels way less intimidating. So the more reps that you get trying these type of tactics where you're not worried about an audience, you're not worried about the foreverness of the internet, and you're not worried about making eye contact or worried about how you're being perceived while you're just trying to get the words out of your mouth, that will really, really help you ease into things. Okay. All right. Tip number 3, shorten the exposure window. When you try to do everything in one take with no breaks, that creates so much unnecessary pressure. Maybe you're even trying to memorize a script that's like a minute long and regurgitate it in one piece. It's so much easier to take like 5 to 10 second clips or maybe one sentence per clip. This will help you to say what you need to say without being worried about, all right, thank goodness I got one sentence out. Now let me try to get 2 sentences out. Just do 1 sentence at a time or 10 seconds at a time. That will make it feel so much less intimidating and help you to just focus on what you were saying in the present moment, not what you're going to say 5 sentences down the road. Jump cuts also are your friend. If you notice, in this podcast specifically, there's a lot of cuts throughout. That's because I am messing up my words and I am saying the wrong thing all the time. And I just start over when I mess up my words. Whatever I was saying, I'd start from the beginning of that sentence. And when I edit, I take out whatever part I totally butchered. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with jump cuts. People do it all the time. And it actually helps you to create better content because if you fumble through an entire episode and you don't edit it at all, it's going to be tough for people to watch it through. Like, let's just be honest. If someone's bumbling through something, people are skipping that video, they're skipping that podcast episode. People want clean, crisp, clear. So jump cuts, baby. Jump cuts all day. That is your friend. You really don't need to perform for 60 seconds straight. It feels so inauthentic. It feels scripted. Even if you do successfully memorize a script for a minute straight, people don't want to talk to a robot like someone regurgitating a script. They want to talk to someone who feels like a real human. And you're only going to do that if you can capture as much of you authentically speaking from your heart versus reading off a script. Okay. Just remember that you're capturing moments. If you're creating short form content, you're capturing tiny little moments. You're not delivering a speech. All right. You're not Martin Luther King out here. You don't have to have a dream. You can just say what you got to say, pop on, pop off, leave it at that. Okay. Number 4, this is going to speak to everybody. I already know. You got to kill the cringe spiral. Okay. Let's just normalize it. Let's just say it out loud for everyone in the back. Everybody cringes at themselves. Everybody does. You notice things about yourself that nobody else notices. You know why? Because nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. I'm sorry. I know. Kind of sounds mean, but nobody cares about you or the content that you're posting as much as you think that they do. We all overinflate our own self-importance in our own mind, right? Because we're the main character of our story. But you're not the main character in someone else's story. You're just the main character in your own. So the way that you are very critical about yourself when you're watching something back, nobody else is watching you in the same way. If you're delivering great value, they're thinking, wow, that was really helpful. They're not thinking, wow, that was awkward. They're focusing way more on what you're saying versus how you're saying it. Cringe means that I'm doing something new, not that I'm bad at it. And I always love the phrase, allow yourself to be a terrible beginner. When you look at yourself as a beginner rather than, oh, all this pressure to be an expert right away, it really takes the pressure off. It really helps you pump the brakes. It helps you realize, wow, this is not that serious. I'm just a beginner. I'm just learning, baby. All right, let's wrap it up with tip number 5. Choose a format that feels like you. Not everybody should show up the same way. And in fact, people can tell when you're being inauthentic. If you're trying to copy a creator that you've seen online, which maybe you admire them and that's great, but you got to realize that you're not them. and you're also not meant to be them. You were created by the Lord to be you, okay? So show up like it. What feels good to you? What feels natural to you? I've noticed for me, when I'm ranting at the camera and I've got some sass in my step and I've got something to say, that's when I feel like me. I tried for so long in my content to kind of come off as calm and sweet and just kind of show up in a way that it really didn't feel authentic to me. Like, I'm sassy, all right? I got a little pep in my step. I got a little bone to pick with you, even though I like you. I'm glad that you're here. But that's just how I am. That's how I speak. I'm charged. I'm sassy. I'm passionate. And when I lean into that, rather than trying to show up like somebody that I'm not, I think my content comes out, at least for me, it feels a lot better. And I think it's received a lot better because it's authentic. So think about, who are you when you're not on camera? What's your personality? And can you give yourself permission to show up that way? And if all of this is just a lot and you don't even know what your authentic self is, think about what feels the most comfortable for you. You can kind of try on different personas. Are you the calm educator? Are you the off-camera narrator, the voiceover queen or king? Are you on camera but casual? I know a lot of creators that they don't even seem like they want to be on camera, and for whatever reason, it works for them. They hold the camera like down at the corner. They've got their hood up. They're speaking in a monotone voice, but for whatever reason, it's them and it's who they are, and it's engaging. You just kind of try on these different hats and try on what works for you, get rid of what doesn't, and take the pressure off. And just remember that people really, really connect with authenticity. And the internet rewards consistency way more than it rewards a personality type. Let me close out by saying that you don't owe the internet your face, but you do deserve a content strategy that grows with you. And creating content that doesn't feel like you and that feels super cringy, it's no fun. And content should be fun. It should not feel so chaotic. So I want to encourage you to pick one low pressure way that you can show up this week. With everything that we spoke about today, what can you immediately apply in your content going forward that takes the pressure off, helps you feel more like yourself, and allows you to just kind of relax as you're filming content? Start small, amp up production later. And if you need help, you want help building content that fits you, not just a trend cycle or another creator online, that is literally what Ledbetter Marketing is here for, baby. We love helping business owners and creators like you create better podcast and social media content. And if you're interested, shoot us a DM at Ledbetter Marketing on LinkedIn or Instagram, or you can visit our website, www.ledbettermarketing.com. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to help you create better content in 2026. This has been Content Without the Chaos. I truly hope this podcast is helping you to feel less chaos around content creation. It really is supposed to be fun. And if you found this episode helpful, please leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share this episode with a friend who wants to get more comfortable on camera. Presented by Ledbetter Marketing. Better content led with purpose.